Yeah, it says live.
It says live. Hey, everybody. Hey, thanks for coming. I know people will be joining us, but I would like to introduce you. You know, Hannah, but I want to introduce you to HanBeauty101, who is not only my friend, but also my work associate. Right, Hannah? And we have been talking because, we have water cooler talk, just like I chat with you guys. And we've been talking about rising prices. And of course, this was all we've been talking about rising prices in the beauty space for how long now, Hannah? And this all came to a head with the Louis Vuitton release, which has been quite a hot topic. And Hannah and I want to we're not going to just talk about Louis Vuitton today, but hi, Deborah. But we want to talk about prices in general. We want to give everybody a space to really vent and even rant about Louis Vuitton. But Hannah and I on our channels, we're going to try to kind of step back a little bit.
Yeah.
We don't want anyone to feel shame if you want to purchase this. I think that's wonderful. But we don't want anyone to feel shamed if they're incensed about this and upset and worried about what the main effect will be on the beauty industry. We just want to give you guys a chance to talk. Speaking for both of us, we are going to take a little step back from it. We won't be immediately, certainly, reviewing these products. We know this is a very hot topic with a lot of emotion behind it, right, Hannah? So, but we want to give everyone a chance to talk about it. But Hannah, I'll shut up. You talk a little bit, and then we'll get into some comments too.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is something I think we've all been quite concerned about, but not just now. We've been talking about this for some time, haven't we? About the rising costs for everybody. And now this has just become probably the hottest topic, I'd say. The hottest one since I started YouTube for me.
100%.
I don't think anything has caused this much reaction, really, has it? And how it might exclude so many and how we go about this, what people want us to do. Sorry, I've got a fly in the room. Great. Effect. Yeah, so that's been a big hot topic. But as you know, we've been discussing this behind the scenes and wanting to come to all of you to talk about how we go forward with what we, between us, purchase for our channels, what you want us to do, and how we can maybe work things out so we can continue doing what we do as well, because it's affecting us in the same way it's affecting everyone else. So we want to really be led by the community and led by you in how we do things, don't we?
It's true, and it affects us in a strange way because when you guys skip something, you skip it. When Hannah and I skip it, we can upset people in either direction. So it's particularly precarious for us because we do review beauty for a living, but this is such a hot topic. She and I, you and I, find ourselves airing either direction. So
Yeah.
that's why I think we have a very neutral ground about this. Yeah, and Janet is saying that she bought numerous Pat McGrath palettes and the quality is good. But well, you know what? The Ginger says she is intrigued and appalled at the same time. Let's talk about some of these prices, Hannah, and kind of figure them out. Okay, we got US and UK prices, and then I have a lovely Australian viewer who was kind enough to share Australian prices with us as well. That's Nicole. Okay, so let's talk about these prices. Hannah, you have them in UK pricing in pounds. I have in the US. That
UK ones, do you?
What's that? I do not have UK. You have the UK. I have in the US $250 for eyeshadow, 92 for refills. And guys, this is something we have to talk about refills. And I have 160 for the lip products and 69 for the refills. None of this is taking into account these kind of collections that you can buy with all of them. Hannah, what are the UK prices?
For the eyeshadow, I've got 186. This is just asking Alexa here. Hopefully she won't pipe up now. The refill is 68. And for the lipstick, I've got 119 and the refill 51. And then the lip balms 119.
So what do you all feel about that? Because these refills aren't bad. And there definitely is a part of me that I've told people, is it just a Louis Vuitton trunk, but it happens to have makeup in it? Because when you just take the makeup out of it, it's what? Prada prices, right, Hannah? Am I off on that?
Yeah, in some ways it's less if you're just going for the refill, but obviously the Prada's come in with the case, so it's But then we do pay a lot for some refills. I think the difference between the case and the refill with this is huge. But
It's
I mean,
huge.
yeah. So if you were somebody who was totally in love with the case, it's not going to be that inexpensive if you're just going for the case and then you choose to, obviously that initial one is, but
Yeah, and I mean, how angry can we be if the refills are affordable? Because, like, if you go on the Louis Vuitton site, you guys, and look at the trunks and the pricing of the trunks, I'm priced out of those already.
yeah.
So I don't know. But let's talk about Australia, because that is kind of interesting. And I know our Australian viewers right now are asleep, but viewer Nicole sent me some prices down under. Lipsticks are $265 Australian dollars, and eyeshadow quads 420. And the refills are a lot less, but there's still more. Refills are 115 Australian dollars for lipsticks, 150 for the eyeshadow quads, which Nicole informs me is, I didn't do the conversion, but Nicole said that's up from the conversion when you convert it from the UK. She says that's also up from a price of, say, a Neverfull if we're looking at Louis Vuitton luggage. So they're doing something very particularly unfair to Australian buyers, but they probably don't think they're going to get a lot of sales in Australia. I don't know.
I think this happens a lot with Australia. You know, I've heard it a few times. They're getting higher rates, which is really unfair.
Very unfair. And Rebecca, hey, Rebecca's Run Deep, says that she feels like it's taking a lot of fun out of makeup to make it a status symbol.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with Rebecca, but you guys, I come from a fashion background, so I'm not sure that fashion hasn't ever not been a status symbol.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. There's two sides of this, I think. Hannah, interrupt me if you have something to chime in on this. I feel there's two sides of it. There's one side that says, well, this is luxury makeup, so they don't owe us anything. And then there's another side that says, luxury or not, other luxury makeup is affordable, and we're a makeup community and they've turned their back on us. And I kind of think I'm of two minds on it. I think I see both sides. Hannah, how do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, and also the concerns that have been raised by so many people about whether this is going to bump up prices. I think that's one of the biggest concerns. I think that's been one of our biggest concerns, hasn't it? Whether or not we support this ourselves. Like, can we, if we think it's going to have that knock-on effect? Because we already know that the prices of things like a Tom Ford quads and the Chanel quads that recently launched, and then Dior doing the ones with the sleeves where you pay the extra £10, these things are starting to really creep up. And these are the things that most of our subscribers, most people watching, really enjoy to get, and we don't want to have the prices of Louis Vuitton affecting that. And if there's any chance that can happen, and obviously we don't know, but if it can, that makes things more tricky as well, doesn't it? I mean, there is, I think for me personally, if I'm going to talk outside of being a creator, when it comes to some things like the Galan lipstick cases, I personally get a lot of pleasure out of those. That's probably the only thing in my whole collection that I literally take on holiday. I have to choose which can I treat myself with, which one's in my handbag I can pull out and absolutely love. So that asks the question, would the Louis Vuitton for me personally do that? It wouldn't, because the case for me is nothing compared to the Galan. It's just a normal lipstick case with Louis Vuitton on. And obviously you'd have to say, hello, have you noticed this is Louis Vuitton? Whereas with me, with the Galan, it's almost like a talking point. You take it out and someone's like, oh, that's pretty. And you show them the mirror and it's just lovely. It's just pretty. And I know there's been a lot of controversy with that as well, because they changed the lipstick sizes and all the original cases didn't work. So we're always getting bitten. But that one was my favorite, and that's, for me, I would invest in that because it personally gives me pleasure. That's something I put on my Christmas wish list because I love it. I wouldn't put the Louis Vuitton, I wouldn't get my eyeshadow out in the toilet and be like, oh, I'm just touching up, has anyone noticed? I don't think that's me really.
But then wear it on a chain around my neck, maybe.
But also pleasure of using things with nice cases. Like we've seen the holiday lunch that's coming up from Lancôme, for instance. I love that case. So it's a bit divided. Some people hate it. I can't wait to get it for the case. I know that. And I know that some people think that's daft, but I do want that case.
You know, and it's interesting that you say that, because I always say on my channel, you might as well enjoy the packaging because you're paying for it. And I have a lot of people that get back to me and brands that are doing really sustainable packaging that's very plain. I won't name any names because these brands are lovely people, but a lot of people say they won't buy it because the packaging is too plain.
Well,
But
yeah,
what
Charlotte eyeshadows caused a lot of problems, didn't it, for people because they didn't like the fact they'd gone down the sort of backstage to your clear route. Remember the
yeah,
eyeshadow? And like
absolutely.
for us, with our work, it's handy being able to see the colours. But I do see the point. It's nice having the flashy. You know, we have some beautiful cases from Charlotte Tilbury. It would be nice to continue the theme. But at the same time, I think we paid a bit less. So there's a compromise. So you do pay more. But again, that's different opinions. Some people were happy with it. Some people weren't. I think that's important, really.
And I think in terms of Louis Vuitton causing other brands to raise prices, I think they're raising them anyway. I don't think that Louis Vuitton will directly make Chanel go, woohoo, here we go. But by the same token,
sorry, 3,000, the trunk.
The trunk. Yeah, well, oh my goodness. Sure.
I'll take 3.
Yeah. Each shade, every shade. Yeah, I'll take some and give them as gifts. I have 2 daughters, so that's 3. I think that I do think that they might see it as a green light, and I'll tell you why. If I'm producing something and I'm seeing that someone over there is doing a fancy version of it and it's selling out, it really might make me raise prices if I were Dior or Chanel. So I don't think it's a huge risk, but it's definitely a risk. They're doing it already. But what about, Hannah, what about the fact that we've seen Tom Ford lower prices? We see it 5 instead of 150 in terms of US dollars for a foundation.
I mean, that was something I brought up when I reviewed that on my channel. So some people watching might have seen me say, but they half the price of the architecture foundation, not just the new one, but the old one from last year that we all paid, well, about 140, I think I paid. And I wrote to them saying, are we going to get some sort of voucher or reduction on our next purchase as compensation? Because we paid double last year for architecture matte, and now you're selling it at 70. That seems wrong. And for me, that is wrong because I think that suggests the brand has noticed we're really overpricing this here. It's not worth it. I mean, it doesn't come in a fancy case. It's not a Louis Vuitton case. It's just a classic Tom Ford thing. And now they're coming out. And I looked at the ingredients of the new architecture radiance, not particularly different to the Shade and Illuminate, which is still on for 140, I think, because it's about to go out of stock. So you can currently buy that at double. And now I've tried them side by side. I prefer the new one.
Yeah, it feels like the real crime here, to be honest with you. And I told you this, and I told you this when we were just chatting personally. That seems like the real crime.
Yeah.
Like Louis Vuitton, in a way, like I'm priced out, guys. Hannah, other than us buying one as a treat for ourselves if we wanted to, and I don't think either of us want to, I'm priced out of Louis Vuitton. I'm not that customer. But I am the Tom Ford customer. And what you're talking about happened with Tom Ford, that seems like I don't want to say dishonest, but that seems like the suspicious move, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That none of us are really talking about. We're also excited about Louis Vuitton, who's basically selling a trunk that I couldn't afford anyway, but this time with makeup in it.
And that won't be half price next year, will it? Let's face it.
No, right. So I think that is interesting. And a lot of people were very upset, as you mentioned earlier, to bring this back up, by Guerlain having these gorgeous lipstick cases, but changing the shape of them. So they didn't work with the other lipsticks.
Yeah.
Although I will say this, Guerlain says that they did that because everybody was complaining about the shape of the lipstick. So they're kind of like, hey, pick one, guys. Do you know what I mean? Like pick a complaint. And they do have a point there, darned if you do, darned if you don't type thing. I don't know. So it's interesting. And I mean, how are you guys? Let me ask in the audience, and I'm sure I could run a poll if I were smart enough to figure out how to do it. Are you, if you guys could, as a treat, tell us in the comments, would you invest in some of the Louis Vuitton, or are you just diametrically opposed to this because of the pricing? I'm kind of curious how people are feeling out there. Because Hannah, I think if you and I could, and it weren't such a hot topic, we would probably buy one to look at it and see if
curiosity. And I honestly thought when I saw this release that it's probably people will want me to. I have had messages from people asking me to, but I've probably had, I'd say 95% saying don't, and it's been a strong don't, and about 5% please do. And I feel for those 5% as well, because I want to show them, well, because that's what we do. And but
Yeah.
it is a big expense. And like when we talked about the Tom Ford, for instance, as creators, I do get a bit angry when we do things like invest our own money in these products so we can show people whether or not they work, and then later they drop the price by half. So you think, well, a year later I could have paid half that, Tom. And I really support Tom Ford because I love the brand. I love Tom Ford. Anyone who follows me knows I'm quite crazy about Tom Ford with a lot of his formulas. So I'm not anti Tom Ford in the slightest, but I did feel that that was quite bad. But yeah, again, we're trying here to please everybody, and I don't like leaving people out. And I feel like the people who are really excited about this launch, they're feeling left out, or like they can't mention it, or they're afraid to say they want it. And I don't like that either. It's a bit uncomfortable.
Well, I think you and I were saying too, Hannah, that we're feeling a little bit, I hate to use this word, but I'm going to, and I hope I don't regret it. We're feeling a little bit bullied too, because there are people that are typing in my comment section in all caps, not at me, but it's a generalized thing. Any creator who reviews this you should not follow them. And that's a little bit like, oh, well, some people want to see it, and that kind of backing creators into a corner by saying, don't say that it's your job to review. But it
Yeah.
kind of is our job to review. So it puts us in an interesting situation. I'm certainly curious about it, but am I curious just because of the hubbub? Maybe.
Yeah, I've been like that. I was like, absolutely not. And then you see it, and oh, maybe. And then, but like Danielle, I noticed, said in the comments earlier, there's nothing in these eyeshadows that are showing the Pat McGrath wow formula. And I agree with that. If you could, like for me, what draws me in is the duochromes. So if I saw a real hint of something like that in one of them, and it looked like a color that looked unique, I might at least think, wow, is this going to be a different Pat McGrath duochrome? Is it going to be the original Italian formulas? Is this going to be my favorite eyeshadow in my ridiculous collection? If that was the case, then this might really pull me in, but it's not really. They're not really looking like that, are they?
Well, because we've all talked about how the mothership stopped having the special shades, and the
Yeah,
idea was that they were kind of price prohibitive, right? So okay, go for it with Louis Vuitton then.
yeah.
But you're right, we're not seeing that. And I think if we were like, oh, these are the special shades that we lost in the mothership. Well,
That
okay.
was a good move. Like if they'd have done imagine a whole Louis Vuitton of 4 of the special shades from like Mothership 1 level. If that had been the thing, how many people thought, do you know what? I'll stop by makeup for the year to get my hands on that one. That would be a
100%.
good point, wouldn't it? Yeah. And that
And
would have
we're not seeing that. And that's really true. And we had a comment up on the screen a few minutes ago from Olga talking about a natural progression to even mid tier, not luxury, but Patrick Ta. And Hannah, you and I have been talking a lot about how Patrick Ta always gets a little bit of a toe over the line into this conversation.
I'm sitting here with these now, and I was saying to my friend, I literally bought a few more of these duos because I really like them. And I keep thinking, shall I even mention them in a video? Shall I top my eyes with them in a look without possibly causing an argument? Because that's where that brand has got, I feel. And sometimes that's tricky because I think there's a bit of a pylon on brands sometimes online that gets encouraged elsewhere. And you see it yourself and you think, oh, I better avoid that brand. They sound awful. I fall into that myself. Everyone sees these things, but then you look into the details like I did with the Patrick Tar, for instance, and this formula and this price was actually less than my favorite brands like not Lisa Eldridge, Victoria Beckham, Charlotte Tilbury's. It was cheaper. And I loved them when I tried them. Well, I thought they were okay, actually. I would say that. And I tried it again as a topper, and I was like, wow, this is so good. I chose to buy it, and I haven't even bought it for my channel. I've bought it for me, which is, when you consider what we do, that's a big deal.
It is an odd move, though, we must admit, to re-release the highlighters, which Patrick Todd did. So
Yeah,
close on the tail of the other highlighters, which seemed to fail.
that should
With
have been a refund, I think.
Yeah.
The people who've
Same
got the
shade names,
yeah,
So
yeah.
what was that about? So I want to defend Patrick Todd because I think his products are fussy, but I do admire his professionalism and his talent as an artist. But even I think that's a strange move. and it's added fuel to the fire of those who are Patra Ta haters. And in this whole sphere of our prices getting too crazy. Now, Banana Noodle brought up earlier, and this kind of should be in this conversation, when Chanel entered the chat long before Louis Vuitton with the $200 in the US lipsticks, which was a terrible formula, by the way. I don't know if anyone agrees with me. I thought they were sticky and thick. I didn't like them at all. But those were $200 with that crystal case. Do you remember those, Hannah? Do you guys remember those?
Get it. I know you did. I saw you got it, and I thought, oh, well, good. You've got it. I'm not going to get
I got one and I got a refill. And I think people thought I bought two with cases. I did not. But yeah, I felt kind of stupid. And they weren't that nice.
Again, I prefer the Guerlain, which is a quarter.
Yeah, the Guerlain is totally worth it, to be honest with you. Those cases are gorgeous. But here I am saying that. I don't know, you guys, anybody good with numbers? That wouldn't be me. What's a Guerlain lipstick with a case compared to a Louis Vuitton lipstick with a case?
It's about £60 I pay, I think.
£60 with the fancy case?
Yeah. And then Lisa Eldridge the same, 50 with the case and the refill inside. So it's a huge difference.
Huge difference. And okay, Helen just brought up the fact that also we have the fact that Patra Ta did upset so many of us with kind of like mold and whatnot. A lot of people are saying in my comments that they're really upset with Patra Ta for not addressing that. I do believe he did attempt to address it. There was an email sent to Patra Ta customers, but maybe it was just those who purchased on his website talking about how they want to do better and they feel terrible about it. I don't know if that's enough for people. I just wanted to make that known because a lot of people were saying and they didn't even address it. I do believe the brand tried to, but
did they give refunds in the US to people who bought the highlighter and didn't like it? Were you, because I know that's a problem for us here in the UK, is refunds.
I don't know. Maybe someone could weigh in on that. I still have all mine. He didn't get me to buy all the shades this time again, though. I was like, oh no. Yeah, they should do refunds, Olga says. I don't know if they can. And it's such a funny business when you're talking about brands selling at Sephora too, you guys, with mandatory minimums and and returns and all that. It's tough. It's tough to make it as a brand these days. There's a lot on them.
I would think what I would like to see is anyone who bought that and you can show your order number should get a voucher for the store it was bought in. He should be footing the bill. And the same with Tom Ford with the architecture. You don't have to give me the full refund, but maybe just £30 voucher towards your next purchase or something, because it's a sort of goodwill gesture. I think it really wouldn't be a bad move at all.
And Deborah is saying that Sephora would just refund it in the US just because you don't like it, you could return it, which is true. Yeah. But I got to stand on this while we're talking about Patra Ta. His products are goopy and fussy anyway. I don't think those original highlighters were a mistake. I just think people didn't like them. So they kind of brought it back and went, okay, they don't like the goopy. So his stuff's always been kind of goopy. It wasn't a mistake, my personal thing. But and I don't have problems with him, but I do think his products are a bit fussy. But therefore, people started dogpiling, and this Louis Vuitton has made people just kind of gunning for a lot of brands. And I don't know how to feel, guys. I really go back and forth with it. And Rachel is saying, Rachel is saying something that I think is fairly diplomatic with a creator buying a quad to test the formula, because we do all want to know. Hannah and I have said that we're kind of out, especially for now. Like I think eventually we might buy a refill to give it a try or something. But right now it's just like.
Well, we did at one point say, didn't we? Because that's something we'll talk about later, how we might do things in the future. But we did talk about me doing the blue because you don't like blues, and then you doing maybe the green or the warm, and we'll just buy a refill and we can both sort of tell everyone what each other thinks.
Yes, we're forming an alliance, basically, with a reality TV show. Yeah, because at this point, I don't buy blues and really cool shades. I'll buy some really cool shades. They don't look good on me. I'm not doing anybody any favors. I'm not doing you guys favors to see a dark blue on me. And I'm not doing the brand favors. We don't need to do the brand favors, but you know what I'm saying. So we were talking about that too. Then we can get more reviewed for you guys. Because again, speaking selfishly from a creator point of view, Hannah and I have to be able to run a business. And as things kind of go haywire and prices rise, I don't know where that leaves us as creators.
Deborah say do the purple palette. Deborah also asked about PR, I saw, and there are some videos, I've seen them coming out this morning. some creators have had their PR packages from Louis Vuitton.
What
Me and
types of
Rebecca.
creators are getting Louis Vuitton PR? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, I know. We're lucky to get anything from anyone these days.
Oh, my PR package from Louis Vuitton must be outside on the stoop, you guys. I just forgot to.
I can't admit it. Can you imagine? We'd be on the floor if that arrived.
It's under my Hermes PR package and my Chanel PR.
It's in your handbag next week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who did get it? I'm kind of curious. I got to say, I need to see that. Danielle says she doesn't think creators should be shunned for trying if the review is honest. I actually agree with that. And Helen thinks Michaela must have gotten it. I bet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, and Nina's is arriving tomorrow. I don't think creators should be, speaking as a creator, I don't think creators should be shunned for trying it either. And if a creator wants to buy the entire collection, good luck. You're never. I just don't think we can do it and realistically run a business, because this is a business for us, guys. You got business expenses and stuff. And
sometimes we, like, being totally honest, we see a big launch and we think, wow, that's going to cost us. And we know that everyone wants, especially when we stick to certain brands, like we both review Chanel and Dior. So when you see it, I hate it when Chanel do a triple release. Like Dior did that recently. They just release. I'm like, slow down, like, just from our point of view, because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of money, and it takes a lot to try and even earn the money back to pay for it. From our point of view,
100%. It's if it's something we would buy for ourselves, because guys, we buy for review and then we sometimes buy for ourselves too. But somebody asked me, how are you using all that makeup? And I think that's where that confusion between hobby channel and business come in. If you're running it as a business, you do have to be careful, you guys. It's not wise in a business sense, So
like somebody said about investment, like I might have used the word investment when I talked about Louis Vuitton, and that might have got confused. But investment for me and Rebecca is very much, it's an investment in the channel, because one Louis Vuitton case, it could be a question we get for the next few years. Like, can you compare, say I get the blue one and then we get a really nice blue one coming out from Galan or Tom Ford, and then you're going to say, I want a comparison in formula and pigment with that. So that's why these are investments, not, so that's really what I meant, rather than it's going to be worth 20 million next year. It might gain value being a first edition Louis Vuitton eyeshadow case, like one day if I gave it to grandchildren or something, but it wouldn't benefit me, I don't think.
Be buried with it like the pharaohs.
Yeah, my treasures.
And then, okay, now Deborah brings up an interesting point, and this is really for the US. Deborah's talking about tariffs, and this, let's talk about tariffs with prices. I think this is interesting, particularly to the US viewer. Whether or not there's tariffs, there's a few things going on. There's actual tariffs, and then there's perceived tariffs, because economics is just psychology, right? So there's a lot of brands that are like, there may or may not be tariffs, so we're raising our prices because of it. And there's other brands that are like, we're raising our prices and we may just leave. We might just leave. We might and it's becomes political. That's tricky. That's tricky
there, Rebecca, just saying eyeshadow quads 315 as well. So they're charging even more in Canada. Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know. And then is Louis Vuitton doing this because of pricing? Because we have a subscriber, both you and me, Hannah, because she said she was speaking to you about it too, Countess, who was telling us that Germany and France, DHL doesn't want to ship to the US at all.
I think that was Deborah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You, Debs, isn't it? Yeah.
So, what's going to happen in the US in terms of prices because of tariffs, either actual or perceived?
Because it was France and Germany and one other country now saying they will not ship to the US anything over the value of £100, which means, I mean, if you want to buy one lipstick, what does that mean? And what will that mean for launches in your Chanel Dior stores? How are they going to come to you?
They'd have to ship it to another country and another country to here. This affects creators because it gets us things so late. speaking from a creator point of view.
So YSL is already launching quite late in the US for you, isn't it? And Lancome as well.
And I think Dior launched later and Chanel launched a lot later too. Tariffs and hold up.
Chanel is the only one I've noticed seems to drop in the US sooner for me with you, but I'm noticing it's dropping elsewhere, like it's in Asia and Australia and all sorts of places. And so the tariffs are having a big knock-on effect. I wish they'd drop everywhere instantly. I can't stand this. Everyone's getting it. Like some of the things we had, like we had a spring release from, was it Givenchy? I think it was. I certainly wanted it, and we got it in late summer. Like I still got it because I wanted it, but I knew it wouldn't benefit my channel in any way, and probably nobody's interested in watching it. I just wanted to get that one. I managed to put it in somewhere, but I'm sure nobody was that interested. They've seen it a million times. But at the same time, you don't really want to be trying on spring makeup when you're moving almost halfway through summer. So everyone should have it at the same time.
People have seen it, that it oversaturates. There are so many creators, especially in the US. How many creators? I don't know. I'd love to know how many beauty content creators there are in the US. There's probably 10 or 15,000. I might even be under, honestly, guys. And so it gets a little crazy, you know, and having to run a business and being curious about it, and little things too, little things like Patrick Ta prices going up, you know, like Natasha Denona creeping up on pricing. And re-releasing things, and you guys, it's tough. Yes, and we still haven't. Rabbi Ross says, and she's correct, that we still haven't received the Givenchy that matte bronzer in the US, and I frankly don't think we ever will. I really don't. I don't think we ever will.
Isn't that strange though, that you got the eyeshadow months ahead of us and we got the bronzer and you didn't? It's so weird how these things happen, and there's no communication on it, and it's not fair. Certainly when we're putting out videos as well and people are watching it wanting it, like that happened with the Cafe Crush Lancome palette, didn't it? I got absolutely bombarded with messages. When is this going to be? Everywhere, even in Europe there were places that weren't getting it, but we managed to get it in the UK. I think it literally only came to the UK, but no explanation.
Yeah. No explanation.
I can't tell it. Like I want to be able to say, and I was trying to follow links to tell people, because you think it will sell out, it will disappear. It was so popular. This happened, I think, with the Louvre. Remember the Louvre eyeshadow? Yeah. And that one disappeared twice, and everyone wanted that with good reason.
Didn't we get Cafe Crush though, like a month after you guys though? Even though you got it late?
I think it was probably more like 2 months or 6 weeks. It felt like forever, because I think every day until it launched, I was asked, when is it coming? When's it coming? But yeah.
Now, this is an interesting comment too. Michelle is saying that for her, this is still an entry-level price point, because she's saying she's always wanted a Louis Vuitton handbag, couldn't get it. So this is the closest she'll get, which is an interesting point, by the way, to skip around back and forth, because Hermes, for instance, is unaffordable for anyone who is just a mere mortal. But we could buy their eyeshadow. So maybe Michelle has a point that this is still insane prices, but it is something where she could get a piece of Louis Vuitton at still what might be considered for LV entry-level pricing. It's worth considering.
But I think we get that sort of thing when we get the Dior, the Miss Dior, for instance. A lot of people didn't like that, but if you did, it feels like you're getting a little purse. You're getting a Dior purse, and it's coming at that price. So it does sort of give you that, doesn't it? And it's that extra touch if you like that. Anyway, I know some people put zips on them and turn them into little bags and all sorts. So you do have your Dior bag then. So it depends how you do it. The key thing with anything in life is what it brings you. If it costs you £1,000 or a penny, if it puts a smile on your face and makes you happy, because that's what makeup's about at the end of the day, isn't it? And certainly for me, it's very much about boosting morale and having something to look forward to. So if that's, if you'd rather skip, like if I didn't do the Chanel launch recently, I could have got the Louis Vuitton. That's one way of looking. I could have said, you know what? Or like me and you could have chatted and said, I won't review Chanel, you review Louis Vuitton. Doesn't cost us anything extra because we're doing it anyway.
That's true. And I think that is something, you guys, that Hannah and I have been doing a lot of chatting about, doing things somewhat like that. So that we can go, I can refer you to HanBeauty101. You could refer to my channel, like if you want to see this, because we want to be able to keep up with these crazy prices.
Yeah.
So oh, and then Dior, their loyalty program, Olga brought up. But Dior, whenever I do my end of the year quiz, everyone says they hate shopping with Dior online because they're really intolerable to deal with. So it's interesting. And New Zealand pricing, Michelle is bringing up New Zealand pricing. I wonder, is that even more expensive than Australian pricing? Not the same country, I realize, but you would think the pricing would be similar, but I'm not sure. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, an alliance, Leslie, that's what we're thinking. Because we have to be able to keep up with this too if this continues. And frankly, we don't have any more information than you guys have on how this will work. So
yeah, we were sort of talking, weren't we, about if for instance Dior launches 4 eyeshadow quads in their next release, and me and Rebecca chat before that about which 2 shades we both wanted, first of all, which ones we're drawn to. There might be something we both want, but that's fine. But for me, the warmer colors don't always work on me. The bright reds certainly don't. The deep purples don't. And Rebecca is not a fan of blue, are you? And we both like green, I think. So we might have to just both get greens, because I think you like greens, don't you? But anyway.
But I should be doing purples more than greens because I have green eyes. And you should be doing greens, you know what I mean?
No, so it's not always, obviously it's about reviewing it, and you've got the warmer skin tone to me. I've got as the lovely MacBook is showing today, I look like a ghost.
You do
but yeah, so instead of us buying 4 eyeshadow quads, Rebecca buys 2, I buy 2, and then you'll see us both review them, not necessarily in the same week because of different times that they get lowered. We can certainly say to each other, and then if there's swatch requests, we can refer you to each other, and me and Rebecca can work together like that, and we're hoping that might be something that will help everybody.
And protect us and allow us to keep doing what we're doing, because like I said, we don't know where these prices are going to go either.
And we don't want to stop doing it. I think that's the key thing. There's been quite an ongoing trend to change the way people review makeup, very much more showing what's online rather than buying it. And then most people say to us, we'd rather you bought it because you can show it. And if you bought the collection from last year and then this year, you know the difference. And it's giving you more information, and we want to be able to give you that amount of information, but we can see it's affecting all creators right now, that if you keep buying each collection, it's just too much. So that's why we've been chatting, haven't we, to keep up what we do so we can still do that, but without actually anything. Yeah.
And also this veers a little bit, if I may, into something I've discussed on my channel before, and that is some manipulation that is behind a lot of the de-influencing. And I've said this before, so you guys, if you've seen my videos, you've probably seen me talk about this, that sometimes de-influencing is actually more manipulative because I'm telling you not to buy something and it's trash. In reality, not me personally, but some creators telling you not to buy something because it's trash, when in reality I'm just wanting to avoid spending the money on it, and I'm wanting to seem honest at the same time, and that becomes a very thin line to ice skate on, I guess I would say.
And we've talked about a lot, haven't we? And the reason that's bothered us so much, and it is something we wanted to address with you, is that when me and Rebecca, for instance, have reviewed something like, say, the Dior quads, like I loved the Miss Dior collection, I loved it. And so when I'm saying to you, I think this is really good fun. Yes, it had a bit of fallout with the glitter and things, but I loved them. I genuinely loved them. And if I wasn't, sorry, the fly's back. If I wasn't doing this for a job, I would have definitely picked at least 1 or 2 of those up, probably 2, especially the lilac for me. I love that. It's one of my favorite launches of the whole year. And I've seen quite a few things coming out saying, don't buy it. It looks rubbish. It's going to be useless. And that makes, if they're coming from people who you trust, but they haven't bought it, that makes me and Rebecca, being smaller creators, look like we're lying. And we've actually invested the money and the time in it. So we really feel upset about it, because one of the reasons me and Rebecca get on so well is honesty is key. Absolutely key. And you can only really say that something's good if you've actually put it on your eyes. Or lips or cheeks or whatever.
No, of course. And that's the truth. And not only are you and I honest because we happen to be honest people, we're also honest because, frankly, honestly, we're good business women.
Yeah.
And you guys, you can't run maybe on TikTok because there's not a lot of community. You can't run a business on YouTube and be dishonest because we have a community that we are accountable to. So, I mean, I think honesty is easy for us because it does, if I may brag about the two of us, it does come with our personality, but it also is just good business. If we're
Yeah.
lying to you, we're going to lose your trust. I don't know if some creators are just thinking that they're going to be out of here soon and so it doesn't matter. I don't know. It seems a penny wise and pound foolish though. So we would like to keep buying makeup and putting it on our faces. And in order to do that, that's why I'm joking that we'll have an alliance. It's not a joke. That's something we want to do because we don't know where prices are going either, guys. And the Louis Vuitton thing I get is a bit scary, but I do have to remind you the refills seem commensurate with other pricing and the bags that they're in seem commensurate with their bag prices, except in poor Australia.
And somebody said about people have different opinions, but it doesn't always mean dishonesties. That's not what we mean. We mean if you haven't actually tried the product, you can't. It's not about taste. If you haven't tried it, like for instance, I've seen the one that hit me this year was the Dior Canage, I think it's called, the one that had that handbag, the plastic cover.
Yes.
Sorry, flies driving me crackers. That was for me the best formula I've seen off Dior in a long time.
Agreed.
It's not back to the glory days of the Dior powders, but it was definitely the best one I've tested on my channel. And so when people say it's no good, you can not like the ones you tried 2 years ago or something, but you do need to actually have them in your hand, I think, and test them a little bit. And that's what we want to continue doing because that's what we enjoy. I think we keep talking about it's crazy how TikTok changes now. People are reviewing things via AI and things, aren't they? We were talking about how, you can say this is what I would look like if I did this without actually trying it.
The fashion ladies are doing it like crazy. It's taking over the fashion and lifestyle area for clothing buying, taking over.
Yeah. But even that, I think it's just something about the way me and Rebecca tick. I think if I said to you, I love this dress, and I'm sitting here and it's AI putting this dress on, how do I know if it's itchy? How do I know if it's comfortable? And then if someone's saying to me, is it comfortable to wear or something? I would have to make up an answer. I'd have to lie.
That's right. Yeah, and with makeup, we have to wear test the stuff.
Yeah, so, did it fall in the eyes? Does it itch? Did it come off during the day? AI can't do that, can it?
I think we're also of the. Sorry, I'm reading comments and talking at the same time, and clearly, thankfully, I'm not chewing gum because we really would. I think also we're not saying that we're just asking for accountability and honesty. And I think Hannah and I are sitting here saying we're right now in the middle ground and really it's looking like right now not jumping on to purchase new Louis Vuitton because A, this is a hot topic, so we're going to take a knee, so to speak, and B, we're priced out.
Yeah, we couldn't do half the collection. You do the other half.
Yeah, exactly. I don't, but I think that's better. I feel. Stay with me, guys. That's better for us to say that than to say we're not buying it because it looks like it's terrible. Yeah. Do you understand what I don't know if the audience understands what I mean by that. I just feel like just the honesty is necessary. We're being pretty honest about why we're not jumping on this release. We're not saying because it looks boring and stupid.
I mean, certainly, like when I do my will I buy it, won't I put one out just the other day, and obviously I'm going to look at something and think that color story doesn't interest me, or there might be a brand I've now written off that I've just tried enough of, and that's fine. But it's quite important to say this is personal opinion. Like I said in my last video, I wasn't going to get the Christmas Dior, the big ones, the big ones. Yeah. Which are gorgeous, but the reason I don't want to is because they're the most expensive, and I do all of the quints that come out throughout the year. And for me, it's more of a decision not to buy more because of and I know Dior will come out probably with at least 2 more eyeshadow launches between now and Christmas. We both know they will, and they're probably the color stories that will be more unique than because they're more sort of neutral colors that you get in those ones. But I've heard from so many people the formulas are better in that, and I thought, well, I haven't tried one, so I can't say to you, oh, all I'm saying is that's my personal view as to, and I don't think from a financial point of view I can say, oh, I will do both Dior releases plus that, because we are talking a fortune. And then what if I do one and not the other? Because I think it's going to be about 6 or so, those big ones. It's not just one color story, is it? And we're talking over 100 for each one.
It's terrible.
Like, at least Lancome, bless them, just do the one. I'm like, thank you. Please, can we
Yeah.
just have
Yeah, no, it's true. And Helen brings up the fact that this is already happening in makeup and has been for some time with AI because, yeah, like that's Pat McGrath, not Louis Vuitton Pat McGrath, but Pat McGrath, namesake brand, has been doing that forever. Those swatches are ridiculously AI. That's absolutely true. And they're
Yeah.
swatches, and the brand is doing them, and that is not on someone's arm, you guys. That is all dreamt up on AI. So, Helen, good point on that. Good point. But I think that's why creators are valuable in the beauty community because we are trying the stuff on.
Well,
So if
Lancome's
we start,
great to creators, Rebecca. Lancome, they're kind to us. They drip feed their launches. I'm just seeing what Rebecca said. So yeah, Lancome, I love you. Thank you for your kindness.
it's when it all comes out, it's just so hard, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the AI swatches. You know who else has bad swatches? Charlotte Tilbury. They're always not really color correct on anyone's screen. I have a lot of people tell me they can't figure those out, and they're all AI.
I did, when you go on the website and you can see what you're going to look like with the lipstick before you
Yeah.
choose. One of the releases with Charlotte, I remember about a year ago, I took pictures of me wearing a couple of lipsticks and then I tried mine on and put them side by side on the screen. The difference was phenomenal. And I think that again shows that the only way you can truly say this doesn't work. Plus, we've all got different lip colors as well. Like I've got really pale lip colors, and like me and my friend B, who I think might be on here at the moment, it's funny how I'll say to her, oh, you're going to love this pink. And she gets it. And she's like, I don't love it. It looks terrible on me. And that's because she's got a deeper pink.
Yeah. Undertone to her lip.
Yeah. And obviously that makes a big difference. So even when we try it, like that's why pairing up will be good because you've got a different lip color to me. So at least pairing up, we can still be buying it and showing it. But you like reds. I'm terrified of reds.
Right,
So,
right, sure, yeah. And
yeah.
I think it's a big, big difference. And Olga is saying that Dior has terrible swatches. Has anybody ever been on the Dolce and Gabbana beauty website? They have terrible everything. You can't even find the shades. So I think that creators have a valuable space. And if creators start doing AI, which you guys, this is not something crazy that Hannah and I are bringing up. This is really taking over. And I spend a lot of time at YouTube because I'm in Los Angeles and I'm hearing more and more creators talk about it. Not only are they doing AI swatches, they're doing AI creators. So the fact that we can actually try on makeup, I think is important and valuable, and I hope we don't lose that. But I don't know, maybe Louis Vuitton was hoping to avoid creators all buying it up. Maybe that's part of the high pricing.
But then he's given it in PR to big creators. So it's following it. See, that is almost, I don't know if it sounds bad, but that almost takes it from being a different experience because that's following the line of everybody. If the creators are going to start having the PR packages, that's a standard launch. We don't get them. You've got to have like 100, no, probably 200,000 or more, I would imagine.
Probably 500,000. Yeah. I got to see who got it, but yeah, just out of curiosity. Hey, I'm telling you though, Hannah, if you and I get Louis Vuitton PR, I'm retiring and putting my feet up on a beach.
Put on eBay and close up shop.
Where's Rebecca's channel? She went, put her feet up on a beach somewhere in the Bahamas. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's just so, you know, and it also, I have to make my point about designer and luxury. And this is something I talk about all the time, and Hannah's heard me say it too. There also becomes a, what do you deem? Everyone's got something that they spend money on: a car, golf clubs, a house, carpet, a hotel room. You know, I have friends that buy the cheapest hotel room because they're like, it all looks the same in the dark. You know, when you're talking about luxury, what is affordable and what is ridiculous? And I always do that silly analogy. I know it's silly, but you got to let me do it. Where why are you going to spend $20,000 on an Hermes bag when you could spend $1,700 on Louis Vuitton? Why would you spend $1,700 on Louis Vuitton when you can spend $800 on a Michael Kors, $500 on a Coach bag? Why would you do that when you can spend $70 on a bag at Macy's, $30 on a bag at Target? And why would you even spend that when you can throw your stuff in a hefty bag and throw it over your shoulder? And why would you spend anything on that when you can put your car keys in your pocket and spend nothing? So silly as it is, but it is, what do we deem is worthy of spending money on? And everybody's got a different level.
For some, like with my husband, it would be a car. That's what you spend your money on. But he would probably, to buy a shirt that costs more than £30 is ridiculous.
Everybody's got what they deem is okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everyone, you know, food, and other people are like, nope, I'm sorry, I'm just going to put some cheese on a tortilla at home. I'm fine. You know, it really is interesting like that. Oh, so VS tells us that there is a creator already who but has 1 million followers. And that would make sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they owe Hannah and me PR. We don't have enough followers. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. We get it. You know, they're going to want to give it to people who can give it the most, you know. But somebody else said a little bit ago, and I didn't highlight the comment, that, you know, Pat McGrath has lost us and lost every, but you do have to remember, and if I may, just because I have a fashion background and I am an editor, we got to remember who Pat McGrath is and who Nicolas Gasquier is at Louis Vuitton. I don't know if everybody knows that. These are provocative designers and artists. And Pat McGrath started with Alexander McQueen, who was about as provocative as you could be. That's where she started her career, doing his runway shows. Remember, with the feathers and stuff? And these people are provocative, and they do want to create controversy. They're not like your friendly average, here's a pretty makeup for your eyes. Pat McGrath has never cared about her customer service. She has never cared that the things are wrong. She's never cared if it sells out. This is someone who started remember this, a little chase around New York City to get the Supreme Pat McGrath lipstick. Do you remember that, you guys? You went and got a clue, and then you went and got a clue, and then you went, and people were really, really angry about it. And Pat McGrath, she didn't care. They're provocative people, and they're artists. So that's another thing happening here, that you have to understand the history of the houses and of the artists to get.
But it also works. How many people have heard about the Louis Vuitton launch that's not even interested in makeup?
Yep.
How many people have seen what they look like when they have never even heard of Pat McGrath before, maybe? You know? And so what they've done, like, we're sitting here chatting about it, and some people would say, why are you giving them even airtime? But it's difficult to avoid when this topic, we're getting messages left, right, and center, and we felt it's better to address it, isn't it? Because like, as we said at the start, we're very much led by the community, and that's what you want is all that matters, because that's, you know, that's what it's about, essentially, isn't it? So
everybody wanted to address this, you know, so we'd be crazy not to address it, you guys. We can't just pretend it's not happening. It's our community, and and the thing about YouTube is it is completely community led.
Yeah.
Like if Hannah and I just talked about what we wanted to talk about, our channels would fail. I don't know if you guys know that. And YouTube admits that. It is unlike movies and television, which were decided upon in boardrooms by guys in suits. YouTube is decided by what you guys watch. That's how our channels are promoted. So it's actually kind of not up to us. It's up to us to guide it, but we have to do what you guys want to talk about. Yeah. Rachel says, if Pat McGrath is such a great artist, then why isn't the collection more interesting? I don't know. We're all talking about it, though. Let me tell you, we are all talking about it. And I think, and I told Hannah this off camera, I think that they knew this would infuriate people. They knew this would be provocative, and we are just following the path that they have laid down for us with our rage.
And how many people are genuinely curious to see that formula? Like, if I could go and get the mothership that's got that blue in, for instance, and get the Louis Vuitton, how many people watching would like it if I could go, here we go, here's the two? Yeah. How many would like to see the two, or just go like this on the eyes? This one's Louis Vuitton, this one's Pat McGrath original mothership, because I would love to know.
I'd watch it right now.
I don't want to buy it necessarily to find out, but you know, because of what we do, that's something we have to decide on. But at the same time, we certainly feel if we did it, it's not worth it. We don't want to upset people. And I've been asked by people I really, you know, really respect not to. And I don't want to cause any offense. I don't want to upset people. But I also want anyone watching who really wants to see it or wants to buy it not to feel left out either. It's a really tricky one.
And they turn to us for these things. I have a lot of people that say to me, I'm not buying that. That's not in my budget, but I was dying to see it. And so they watch our channels to see it. And now they won't get to because, and I used the word bully, but I will use it again because, Hannah and I are like, we're just going to let it sit there. Because we have had people who are so vehemently against us even looking at it.
I mean, one example, and I won't say who this is, but I was told by someone who's on Instagram, and if they're watching, they'll know. I don't know if they will be, that they put something up about how they're priced out with the Louis Vuitton, or it's just they're going to invest in other things. And somebody sent them a private message saying, well, if you didn't spend all your money on lipsticks, maybe you could afford it. Like, how nasty is that?
People, keyboard warriors,
yeah, that's just somebody being judged for what they've spent over time, sharing what they love. And
yeah,
I think that's so horrible. But that's the problem. That will happen. That's guaranteed to happen. Me and Rebecca would have to take a lot of flack if we reviewed it. We know that.
Bring it. I'm ready, but we don't want to we just don't want to cause. You know what else, you guys? And this is something that makes Hannah and me very like-minded. We don't want comment section. What's that?
My friend B has just commented saying she doesn't mind me saying it was her. Yeah. So B told me, she's my good friend B. So hi B. Yeah, she told me she got that this morning because she just put something up, which I thought was really good. She put a story up. If you want to find B, by the way, B Shops Pink is the name for Instagram and YouTube.
Oh, I'll come over there. Cool, B. Hi.
Yeah, she's lovely, B. And B put a story up yesterday of everything she's just got from Victoria Beckham, and it was like a page full, and how this would be the same as one eyeshadow from Louis Vuitton. And Victoria Beckham is very expensive, so she was able to get all of that. And she just got a load of comments saying either she should be supporting Louis Vuitton and how terrible this is, or people like, well, if you didn't buy all these lipsticks, then maybe you could afford a Louis Vuitton. I'm like, first, you're missing the point, because she is spending that money. She's just spending it on a different brand, so she could have afforded it. Why do you need to be so nasty?
If you're going to be rageful, at least have a valid point.
It doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't at all. Yeah, there's no need for rudeness, but people get so angry. And I think Hannah, you and I don't allow that in our comment section. There are some creators that don't mind it because it's the train wreck that everyone wants to watch. But I think for you and me, that makes us very uncomfortable. So we don't want people screaming at each other in our comment section. I don't think that's a comforting environment for people to be in their space. And I think you and I agree on that, which is why we're a natural, pair here. That's what I just don't want people screaming at each other.
Yeah, and like it's just really, really personal. Like, I've never personally bought a designer handbag. I've not chosen to do that. That's my choice. Does that mean if you tell me now I'm going to go out and buy the latest Louis Vuitton, I'm going to condemn you for it and think, oh well, you could have bought this, and this for that? And it's if you've got the money, I'm happy for you. If it's making you happy, I'm happy for you. But also, everyone, like we said earlier, everyone's got different opinions on what you say you're up for. There's certain things you think, I know it's costly, but that brings me pure joy. That, like, my joy, if everyone follows me without didn't say straight away it's Fenty. Luckily, that's quite affordable. If Fenty was more expensive, it probably would change nothing. I hope they're not listening, by the way. Don't tell Fenty I said that. But you know what I mean? It's something literally, you look forward to it so much. You look forward to using it. It's bringing you pure joy. Then that's key, whatever that is, whether it's makeup or cars or clothes or bags. And even if it is a big chunk, like someone said about being upset about a comment where it's half your salary and things, like, some people might think that's still worth doing. It's worth, like, let's buy no makeup all year. And like, how many people have you had write to you, for instance, who will say, we don't buy makeup all year, we wait until the sales, the Black Friday sales or something, or the Sephora sales at the end of the year, we have a 200 budget and that's it. And in that month, we're going to choose the things that we've watched reviews for all year, and that's what we do. And maybe in that case it would be the Louis Vuitton, if that's what, and you've got to just let people do things their way, I think, haven't you?
For sure. Do you guys remember, and this was we don't have too much time left here, there was a year or two ago, somebody put, and this really is where it spirals out of control. This made news. Somebody on TikTok put a video out where they were enjoying the sunset on their deck or something from a lovely house, and they were saying how blessed and lovely the world is. Mm-hmm. And all it got was comments because you have a deck to sit on. Some people don't even have a home. and it blew up with this woman being attacked for doing a very, very normal TikTok about how she was enjoying the evening sitting on her deck. And it just got taken over by people saying that some people don't have a home to enjoy it from. And it was a very strange time moment in our collective thinking. So, and I think that was illogical. It really happened, but I think, but if you, it's still, it's in the ethos, and I think it definitely happens for purchases. And when something is so not just over the top pricey, but also a bit ostentatious and a bit nouveau riche, as this Louis Vuitton releases, it's going to attract all that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's something that's just got worse. And like I've talked about this so many times with people, because I've worked online in other areas before I did this, and I just saw such a growing trend for people. I mean, we both have. We've been of that generation, haven't we, where we didn't have internet, and then we've seen it happen. But it's not just that people can say things like this from a distance. They enjoy it. It's now which videos get the best views. Is it the one saying, I'm going to set fire to my Chanel collection, I'm done with Chanel? Or is it, this is a beautiful Chanel palette, which one gets the views? Of course it's the I'm going to set fire to it one.
The train wreck.
Yeah, but do you feel relaxed after watching these things? Because I don't. They're just stressful, and it's like, oh, I was really enjoying my Chanel collection until I saw that, and now I feel
I have to set fire.
Yeah, do I have to go and have a bonfire?
Right, and I think we welcome our communities who are so level-headed. Pretty much our communities are the same people, and I think Hannah, welcome.
Sorry. Deborah's just saying she's got to leave because she's got an appointment.
Oh, yeah, we're leaving too, Deborah. We're going to be out of here too. Yes, so it will go out to everybody. It will go out to everybody late. So,
Rebecca,
what's that?
We'll do it again.
We are going to do it again. Hannah and I are in talks, you guys, with our alliance. So we're definitely going to be doing this again, whether it's topics, whether it's just going to be little end of the month roundups, whatever. You're going to get sick of seeing us both. Well, we hope you are anyway.
We need to try and suss out this lighting and whether it works, and whether we can say, funnily enough, I've got a Fenty product right next to me, but we can say, this is the one I bought, this is the one Rebecca bought, and we can just say, can you see? And we can do a swatch and show you, and Rebecca can be showing you on the other side.
Wouldn't that be fun, you guys? We thought that would be really fun. And to just kind of do that maybe monthly or whatever it takes, to just say, here's the shades we got. Do you know what I mean? I think it would be fun.
Like a monthly chat. How are you? Like Rebecca might be struggling with a foundation that I'm getting on well with, and then we can all sort of chat together about why I'm getting on with it. And if I got the greens and you've got the purples, we can be swatching them next to each other, and then you can ask questions. And whilst like I'm sitting here in my beauty room just as Rebecca is, and we can be going off running to get things as you request them. We thought maybe that would be fun, like an interactive.
Super fun. Super fun. Exactly. And then Hannah, you can do a little dance while I run off screen to get whatever you can.
Oh yeah, that'll get us taken off the air.
Well, as long as I don't have to sing, then we're okay. So we're just so grateful that all of you all joined us. And yes, we will be doing this again. And for now, we're not buying the Louis Vuitton, but we might pick up a refill at some point. I don't know. Who knows? But not initially. We're gonna.
I mean, certainly, I can see a lot of people today have said they'd like to see it. And I feel bad straight away saying I'm not doing it now.
I know. We reserve the right to absolutely chat.
We will chat tonight or tomorrow, and we'll be, should we? And then tomorrow, no. Should we?
No. But I'll tell you this, guys, we're always going to be honest with you. We're not going to say we're not getting it because it's stupid or something. We would tell you why we didn't or why we decided to. And that's the honesty we can certainly.
I mean, we can say I can say the color stories don't grab me, because I'm just giving, when I say, will I buy it, won't I am literally saying, sort of as a consumer, which one really draws me in, and which, certain brands, like I've bought so many things from Chanel, I don't know if I'll like, but I'm doing it for review. But if I'm going to tell you from a consumer point of view, which I often do, I won't necessarily love that. Like I felt much more excited about the MAC eyeshadows coming out than I did the Louis Vuitton. And why is that? When we're probably talking the MAC ones will be 20 for one thing. So why? Because they're glittery, they're metallic, they're bright colors. Like I'm really excited for that. The Louis Vuitton, there is color. Like the blue one does look good. I think the blue one, looked wild to me. The others didn't, to be fair. Maybe the purple was quite strong, but nothing like the Dior one, the Miss Dior one. Why did that scream at me? And it's because it had so much glitter and it had that pop in the middle. And I thought this is going to be fun to layer. And that's for me what I need personally. Not everyone does. A lot of people don't like that, but that's my personal thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
When I look at Louis Vuitton, I'm not going to say it's rubbish. It just doesn't excite me.
Yeah.
As a consumer, that's the truth.
Absolutely, except for all the hubbub.
I might buy it and be like, oh my days, this is fabulous. How many times have people seen both of us doing that, thinking, oh, this is going to be rubbish? And then we put it on our eyes and go, oh my goodness, this is amazing.
Happens all the time. And that's why we got to try it on. You can't decide without trying it on.
You need a Fenty lipstick. Whoever said that. You cannot go through life without a shimmery Fenty lipstick. I've got every shade of this. And if I gave this job up and bought nothing for the rest of my life, be my one product is
100%. Yeah.
You have to have happy makeup.
It makes us happy. And no matter what, it's still cheaper than, like I brought up golf clubs or a car or whatever it is that people are into, So
yeah. Lamborghinis cost a little bit more, don't they?
Just a bit. So while we wait for our Louis Vuitton PR to arrive, Hannah and I want to thank you guys all for being here. And you're going to see more of us. And we just thank you all. And we will check back in with you guys. So look for more. Thanks for being here, everybody.
I just want to say I'll put something out on my post probably, and I'm sure Rebecca will as well, getting feedback as well on what you might like from us.
Absolutely. So, yes. Please tell us. We are definitely listening. So please tell us.
We will put it all in notes and chat and then let you know what we think you might like. We'll definitely do that.
We definitely will. Thank you guys for your time. Hannah, thank you for coming today too.
Oh, thank you for agreeing. It's been great fun.
We've been scheming. All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much for your time and we'll see you soon.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.